I might be the head honcho of hair loss, known across the globe. And you are known from across the globe for being here, and I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you. Here's what I want to share with you. So now the newest season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is out, and I've referenced that show so much. I think Jerry Seinfeld and I have the same personality. I have a feeling he, on the Enneagram, is the type 1 personality, where you don't care about peer pressure, you just do your own thing, you do whatever, right for you, and all that stuff. So a lot of the things that he says, I'm like, yes, that's how I feel. That's how my life is. So he was saying this thing on the episode, he was talking about how, and I think it was the one with Kate McKinnon, he was saying how, as a comedian, if you're too good looking, or you're known for being good looking, then automatically you're not funny. And boy, do we need to unpack that. I think that's very interesting. Something I've covered so much on this channel is how men are known for so many different traits, and society places values on those traits on us, while we as men tend to believe that hair loss is like the main thing, when in reality, society has all these other things they're actually judging us by, which are probably, if anything was going to scare us, it should be those things. Because man, I'm telling you, if you're not funny as a man, that's like a really bad thing. People put a high value and expectation on a man to be funny, more so than girls. So, but it is an interesting thought though. How many good-looking comedians do you know? Like male comedians, like stand-up comedians that are good-looking. And I'm struggling right now to think of one that would, like a stand-up comedian, not like an actor that does comedy, but I can't think of one. I can't think of one. And it kind of goes back to the whole sitcom concept that, like, especially in the 70s and 80s and 90s, you'd have these sitcoms in which they would star a male comedian, and his wife would always be really thin and pretty and smart to contrast him, because everyone knows that funny men aren't also good looking. Because if you're good looking and funny, then somehow you're not funny anymore, or maybe you're conceited, I don't know. But that is interesting, that there's this trade-off that people see in us. So it's interesting because, and I've said before, I don't want to be known as the good-looking guy. I'd rather be a 6 out of 10. I'd be very happy with that, because then the expectations there aren't on my looks, they're on my personality, my communication, and even in my humor, which I don't think of myself as being funny on these videos, so that's not my intention. And if I had a brand of humor, I don't even know what it would be. But that is interesting, that if you're too good looking, then by default you can't be funny anymore. You won't be perceived as funny. Man, and it's good that I don't prepare for my videos at all. I really don't. Because had I had 10 minutes to think about one good looking male comedian, but I can, and that's, if it's that much of a struggle into a 4-minute video now, and I still can't think of a funny male comedian that's also noticeably good looking. And like, you can't say Paul Rudd, well, he's a good looking guy, he's like in his 50s, look, perfect hair, look at this guy. Well, he's not a comedian, he's a funny actor. But as far as someone that would have like a Netflix special, and here's them being funny for an hour, none of these guys are known for their looks. So for me, it just reinforces the fact that society values us to be funny and to be good communicators. And that is really what so much pressure should be on, not the hair. It's interesting. Does anybody follow me on that thought process? But I couldn't help but think, after I saw that on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, I thought, I need to make a video about this, because to me that's a little bit of a tiny revelation that we haven't really talked about. But what I say is meaningless. The only thing that gives my words meaning are your words in the comments right here.